spherical thing that knew about them. I was looking for the third phenomena, because I can see it now, you know, with that, my eye can catch it. And this, to me, would show that it has nothing to do with my machines, and it has nothing to do with the dishes, and this looked like good. And it also was a great chance for me to prove to myself that
what you were seeing was really there.
I believe that if this is there, it has to be there all the time. It can't not be there and be there. And so I figured I'd take the biggest chance of all. And so I broke down the CNN footage. There they were. And
even on the CNN footage?
Yes. And, well, it's documented, and I don't think CNN even knew what they were seeing. But what stunned me is that was almost, well, how much more do you need, you know? I really did not, I didn't want to come forward with the third phenomena, but then the second space phenomena, until I was able to be absolutely certain that this had some substance to it. I didn't want to lose the second phenomena. I didn't want someone to get diverted on this, shoot it down,
Sure.
and then say, well, that means that incredible spherical phenomena that is I also documented in great abundance. I didn't want that to be dissed.
After you'd collected this material, you mentioned the gentleman at the planetarium that decided that he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to any other? Have you spoken to NASA or any qualified people there that might be prepared to comment on what you've seen?
It's so hard to tell the story, but again, I then met a physicist from California, actually from Topeka Canyon, who used to be a part of a think tank there, red, blue, or blue-green, or something like that.
Sure.
Who cares what it's called? But the fact is, he was very, very interested in the scientific end as well. We stayed away from anyone that was going to have gray aliens and things in it. You know, we were really looking to substantiate it as just there. And he started corresponding with the astrochemistry department at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And the extraordinary thing about that is that he didn't communicate on my behalf with just that department. He communicated with the head of the astrochemistry department. And I've turned over the documentation which outlines the whole set of email conversations in which at no time does he say that the spherical phenomena is not on the tape. What he does is basically comment accepting the premise.
Do the emails discuss both phenomena or just the spheres?
No, that's the interesting thing. We decided that, you know, that it would be better to continue our work, which is massive. I have massive amounts from every flight of these spherical phenomena. I have examples of these things 300 miles away, close to the ship. So I feel there's enough there to I didn't want to freak out the
You felt that there might have been a bit much.
Well, I'd already seen Professor Weinberg's reaction, and you really have to be right with them to hold their hand. And I just felt that he might stop the emails. We were absolutely knocked out that this man started talking to us. It was the first time that I've ever heard of a senior Major League JPL NASA player literally discussing what is on the tapes. There's an example of the tether, which is a 12-mile long electrical, $100 million satellite controlling electrical...
An electrical experiment.
Yes, I'm not a scientist, I apologize for that, but, you know, I'll get you these details. But and this tether, they are busy showing us from the moment it broke to the moment it's 300 miles away. And at every point...
It broke?
Yes, mysteriously it broke just in the right place. If it broke a little bit too close to the shuttle, it would have taken the shuttle out. If it had broken a little further on, it would have maybe destroyed the wing or something, you know? Because you hear the astronauts say, well, it couldn't have happened in a better place, you know? And then, just to continue on the distance, as these things started swarming it, and as this thing drifted away, they're continually showing us, or NASA, I guess, you know, through the downlink, this $100 million satellite. And the phenomena followed the satellite.
This is the second,
the
spherical phenomena.
The spherical phenomena. And
are NASA commenting on these things as
no,
this is happening?
Oh, at one point they asked, and the astronaut says, well, it's a little bit of debris or something, like you'd think he'd know, that follows us around, sort of. That's, you know, it wasn't like, oh, this is this. And then they dropped it.
There's a few of these things in the footage, or are there a lot of them?
There's more than a lot. If you've ever seen a hornet's nest after you've thrown a rock at it, you know, that's what it's like. And how do you count the hornets? So they're all going in different directions. And I use tricks like fast forward, because when you go in fast forward, if they're all stars, they all go in the same direction. You know, these things are all moving. But what was very interesting is they're saying, how far is the tether? Well, the tether is now 100 miles. And they zoom with their incredible zoom in on it, and you see some of these spheres in front of the tether, and some of absolutely clearly, no problem at all, they're behind the tether. And if the tether's 12 miles, and these are half the size of the tether going behind it at 100 miles away, they're not specks of ice.
Well, even for me, I find it hard to believe that they could be crystals then if
but again, I'm merely saying that, you know, I'd like that I'm just saying what they can't be. And I've never heard of a 6-mile ice crystal that's spotted crystal clear 100 miles away, you know, etc. So there's hundreds of those examples. Then they've called them on the different videos. One time they said they were shooting stars and meteors. Then the same phenomenon appears on the next flight, and it's ice crystals. And then the next phenomenon appears on the next flight, and it's debris. You see what I mean? They've already established it on STS-70-something that it's...
I seem to remember something about fireflies at one stage from a long time ago.
I believe this spherical phenomena first appeared to John Glenn as early as 1962, and he did, and it continued. We have documentation from various publications that shows that they know clearly. They didn't have an answer for 3 to 4 space flights. They had an answer to what, you know, the blue haze around the Earth is. You know, it's they had an answer to just about everything else. But there's this very interesting thing about 3 or 4 flights in, where it says John Glenn's fireflies spotted over Perth. They're still calling them John Glenn's fireflies. And we have an astronaut making the comment on the 25th anniversary of the moon flight. He says, it's hard to believe, but he says it's a fact that we thought that John's fireflies, again, Glenn's fireflies,